Through your awareness, focus and attention, you literally open up the program of the brain and body to do associated actions that have dramatic effects in the physical world. What we focus our attention on has causal effects in the physical world, through our brain and body functions, that can literally produce physical things, or allows us to interact with physical things. An example of this is the very act of reading these words with your focus and attention of awareness, which then causes your brain and body to interact with the words and causes you to interpret and understand, which then causes you to keep reading for more information. In order to self-actualize and manifest the life that you desire, or get to a specific goal, you have to choose the correct and exact message or program to send to your brain and body, through your focus, attention and awareness. What you focus on the most, you become in one way or another. This happens through your reticular activating system. The 3 ways to go about this process is to turn the key to your vehicle. These 3 ways are the pathways through which your reticular activating system works. 1. Goal setting and action taking. 2. Specific encoded messages. 3. Images held in the mind. We will get into the actual process as you get further into this book. It's important to understand that your reticular activating system cannot distinguish between what is real or imagined. Your brain itself cannot distinguish this and will believe whatever message we give to it, regardless if actual facts exist or not, either in the form of physical observations or by reason. Chapter 3. Emotional associations. As human beings, we are emotional creatures. Everyday objects, people, places and things have an emotional meaning to it based on previous experience. This happens through emotional associations. The brain usually determines whether something feels good or bad after only 200 to 300 milliseconds. This means that, every 300 milliseconds we are changing our emotions based on what we are thinking, observing or doing. We are in a constant cycle of observing, thinking, feeling and being. All memories that we have, gets stored into the brain and body through an XYZ grid of emotional associations which are attached to the nervous system in the body. This is because each thought we have, whether we are aware of it or not, creates an emotional response in the brain and prompts the body to act or react accordingly. It's important to understand that our emotions are what connects our experiences with our bodies, through electrochemical changes in the brain and the nervous system of the body. This will prove useful when we want to start taking control of our lives and produce intended results. Belief. So from Chapter 1, we learned about conscious experience and the language of the brain and experience. There are finer details of the modalities of conscious experience perception. These finer details are known in psychology as submodalities. So if you will, think of perception as your ability to have individual experience. It is your internal states and internal experience in reference to outer information on the sense organs. And, to each sense organ exists even finer details about our perception, internal state of being and our experience. For example, when you think about someone, usually you see an image of them in that state or mode of being. This modality is called vision, and the defined characteristics of the visual image, such as colors, shapes, sizes, the location, and the actions, etc. within that image are the submodalities of perception. Information comes to the senses as sensual stimuli and encodes themselves into categories based on generalizations and past experience. 1. Visual colors, brightness and darkness, shapes and sizes. 2. Auditory sounds, loud, quiet, high-pitched or low pitch. 3. Kinesthetic feeling, temperature, touch and location. 4. Olfactory smell, good or bad smells, pungent, dank, or no smell. 5. Gustatory taste, salty, sour, sweet. These are examples of modalities and their submodalities of perception and perceptive organs. As mentioned previously, we do not interact with actual reality, rather, we interact within the framework of the filters of stimuli on perception and its filters. These are then the model in which the coding XYZ grid that is then stored in the brain and then in the nervous system. From there we are able to act and react to our circumstances. But we are only acting and reacting according to the generalized encoded grid provided by the senses. From these submodalities we make generalized statements in the mind about them. Whether they are true or false, and this becomes the generalized model of experience that allows us to act and react to an experience. A past experience is a memory. When you look up the word mind, you will find the original meaning as to remember, and to remember is to recall a past experience. All experience is a generalization about the greater reality that exists based on stimuli on the senses and generalizations about the experience made in the mind. Now, we can look at beliefs and how they shape our model of reality. It's important to understand that none of us shares the same model of reality. The model is formed through these generalizations. That's what makes us all unique and different. So, information comes to the senses as stimuli and influences perception, and the submodalities are formed in the mind. From there, in order for the brain and body to act and react upon this information, and make sense of the bigger reality, and deletes, distorts, and generalizes the information through our beliefs and values, which are formed by past experiences as memories and past decisions that either helped us or did not help us act and react in the world safely. Beliefs are generalizations of the light we experience as a reality. In order to change the current reality we are experiencing, we must change the generalizations or modalities and submodalities of how we describe that reality based on these generalizations, deletions and distortions of information on the senses. We are not really experiencing reality for what it is, rather we experience these generalizations as we think reality should be. Thereby, allowing beliefs to rule how we perceive and exist within that given reality. The problem is, these generalizations were given to us from the moment we are born. It is learned from those around us, closest to us and who we rely on to help us throughout the world and keep us from danger. We do this first through imitation of behavior from those around us, and then as we get older we start to cognize and rationalize these behaviors, values and generalizations on our own as we start to live without the help of our mother, father, and closest family. We start to have friends and coworkers and society as a whole, which all in some way, shape or form, molded us into who we are today based on the experiences we had with them and how they acted and reacted to their experience from birth. It is also what we used in order to get through all the stages of life to where we are now, today. The problem is that most of those generalizations that we had when we were younger no longer work to serve us as we are older, now. The problem is that most of these generalizations come from those around us and not even our own. Therefore, the reality of life that we have been experiencing up until today, was caused by and a reflection of other people's thoughts and generalizations, not even our own. And so this means, we are currently living in someone else's worldview based on their belief systems. We have been operating through generalizations of what reality is through other people's experience, and therefore we have experienced their version of the possibilities that reality could be. We were essentially living in someone else's version and model of reality. Living and operating in someone else's life. A belief is a generalization about reality, based on a reason to believe that it is true, based on observable facts to say that it is. In other words, what is a language thing. This language can be measured through what we generalize reality to be. What we generalize reality to be becomes the model in which we experience reality with. And, through that model we ultimately live our lives. The problem exists when these models do not serve what we really are. They are not even our own. In order to change reality and how we experience our current lives, we must change the model or lens to which we are viewing it through. By doing this, we change the structural possibility of what we can ultimately become. We do this again, by changing the model, which is changed by changing the language we use to describe the possibility. When the current model does not work for us, it becomes limiting to our ability to exist in the infinite possibility or possibilities. Therefore, those beliefs become limitations to our state of becoming. When a belief no longer serves what or who we choose to become, then it becomes a limited model. They are known as limited generalizations. It's important to know that all beliefs are limited to the reality of those beliefs. Change your generalized ideas, beliefs about yourself and what reality is, and you start to change the model and the degree to which you live in it and become one with it. When you change the beliefs that no longer serve the version of yourself you want to be in the future, then you start to change the things that hold you back currently in the now. So to make it more understandable, in order to achieve anything, you must change or adapt your beliefs about yourself and your reality. Firstly, you must become clear about what you believe. What do you currently hold true about yourself and your reality? Try to limit your beliefs to generalizations, or in just one sentence for each idea. This is the general idea of what you hold as truth. Once you have a general belief about something you want to achieve, you can then form them into affirmative statements that will help you when self-actualizing and manifestation. The more a piece of information is repeatedly put into your conscious awareness, the more you will start to believe that it is true, even if there aren't any facts to present themselves to confirm it as your reality. When manifesting our ideals and goals, we want to do all three. We must believe and affirm it to be true through repetition. Secondly, we can present evidence with these beliefs through the form of images or symbols. Lastly, we can then confirm it to be true and real as it happens or starts to express itself within the current fold of our reality.